What's going on, everyone? This is Rheimmond Acosta with Coach Emil. That time again of the week, and it's actually a very, very special weekend. Um,
Ooh,
man, from the last show that we did, we discussed how crazy of a fight year it's been, and now we continue this on, and I think we've got a couple more fights uh, to end out the year of just this crazy year. But now this is a big one. We talked about this last week. Canelo and Charlo. Everybody's buzzing about it. If you subscribe on certain channels on YouTube or all these other social media, the algorithm is pushing it out there. So it's definitely buzz talked about. It's going to push a lot of PPV numbers. But we've got a little bit limited time on our end here. I do want to make sure we get to a couple of the other things that we want to talk about. There is one we off screen after the after off screen after the episode last week. Um, we started talking about just for the show itself, between Coach Emil and I, creating a Mount Rushmore type of for the show itself. Something that he has this list, I have my list, and we're just gonna come together and agree on who we want to put up there. But I do want to give you your platform here, Emil. Do you have anything go?
yep.
How's the gym going?
Man, gym's going good. It's busy. It's man, I'm wearing a sweater this time. It's already way colder than it was
Oh
last
my
week, so
goodness.
it's gonna be that time. People are, not gonna be enjoying the sun outside
Hmm.
here in the Pacific Northwest. So they're gonna start coming back in, and I'm already seeing it. So it's been picking up. So
Yeah, that's usually the case, right? Like towards the when the sun goes away and you can't really do the stroll in the park or any of the active parts. That's when they start coming in, and then also what early the next year with the New Year's resolutions and trying to cut down, get the belly fat off.
bro, New Year, same them. Like gotta change it up
I'm back for another 2 months until I
for real.
until until I break my resolution here. Uh, so yeah, okay. That's good news. That's good news. I know there's definitely after our first episode, there's buzz in your gym of
A little
just the
bit, a little
episode,
bit.
and so we've got some great news behind that. Just because now I think we'll use this particular platform to look into just the local kids. I know we were talking about. I asked you to a couple of your fighters that you're very much excited about in the gym. So I
Yeah,
think we get them on, and even in the local area, we're just not going to limit it to there. So if you have some folks out there that you do want us to talk to as an audience, go ahead and comment and let us know, or reach out to us. So make sure to get that happen.
and just an update from one of the guys, one of the homies that I mentioned was fighting Shay
Shay, yeah.
Shay Green. So if anyone tuned in to his stream, I forgot to send the link out
Mm.
to Raymond early enough. But if anyone was confused, his real first name is Carlos. But he fought just this past Saturday, and he won third round KO.
Oh my goodness, there it is. Oh, third round. Okay, so where was
Third
that
round.
venue?
Pretty sure it was third round or second, but I know. I just remember he caught the guy with a slipped out to the right. Boom, caught him with a perfect counter cross, and then from there the guy was already wobbly. Just finished him
Wow.
not
Where
too long.
was this? Well,
Down
what
in
venue?
man, it's like I think it's called like Mexicali Gym
So it's
because it was
not in
like
state. It's somewhere in Cali, though.
everything was in Spanish, and I'm pretty sure it just said Gimnasio de Mexicali. So,
Dang.
and I'm
My
pretty sure
God.
that just translates to Mexicali Gym.
Hostile territory. You just walk in there
Exactly.
and they're like,
So
yeah.
went in there and
Oh, that's
man,
gotta feel good.
just just took what he was gonna get the W,
Wow. That's awesome. Congratulations, Shay. When you see
dude.
this, and
Shay,
I
man.
apologize. I didn't know your first name was Carlos, sir. So we'll make that up to you.
I mean, he never goes he never goes by that. So we'll get him sometime too. I know he's gonna
Nice.
try to fight sooner than later, which
Nice.
as every boxer that's just starting out their career, whether it's amateur or pro. You just got to stay active.
Stay active. Stay
Stay
active.
active.
Yeah. Yeah, I know he just moved back recently. I think what from the LA area. So
Hmm.
there's a lot of exposure out there of just just really good boxers and everything like that. And he's also bringing that back here as as a trainer, especially,
Yeah.
and then also as a fighter. So much value to have him in SBG right now in
Oh
Seattle
man.
Boxing Gym, just to have him there. Yeah. I since we're doing updates here, I do want to update on. If you remember last week, I had mentioned one of the younger fighters that that I pushed out there. His name is Taden Ho. I thought it was pure boxing. I should have done a little bit more research on that thing. But Gamma Sports basically put together an event. It's an MMA event over in Athens, Greece, and it's you know Tatum and them had gotten there. He's there with his father. They'd gotten there. I think went about 3 days ago. About 3 days ago, and that trip is ridiculous. I mean, this they I think they it took them like 30 hours just to get there,
Oh
and so the the fact that like just sit there and you're just as it's just such a grueling trip, and then you go in there and you have to prepare and everything like that. But that's the fight game. That's the fight game. You go in there and you freaking give it your all. And there's a reason why you're there. You get invited and you're there and you're representing something. That's already a win to begin with. He went in. I think he fought one of the top rated. I think he was 10-year-old, 10 or 11-year-old in Spain, from Spain. And this kid, his entire family fights. I mean, it's one of those things to where it's like he's the dad has a squad, and from my understanding, Tatum went in there and he was controlling. He was controlling. He was definitely doing well during the fight. And then, unfortunately, there was a slip in the moment to where he kind of lost track of something, and the experience of the other kid just he took over, and unfortunately, Tatum took an L on that one just because of I believe it was an arm bar, and that's just a fight game. That's just a fight game, and it's just um, tough, tough loss. I know Tatum very well, uh, and I know he'll bounce back. But it's just one of those things, when I found out the news, and I found out the news this morning, I was like, the kid is. I'm sure he's with everything that's gone on, just the emotions around it, and you're so freaking exhausted just with all this stuff, and then you're so exhausted leading up to it, and then like mentally and emotionally and preparing for it. Who knows how much they actually put these kids through to this event, just to actually put them out there and pictures and whatever else, right? Now it's over, and it's real quiet, and it's one of those things. It brought me to come up with a question that I'd ask you as as a trainer, and
mm.
you deal with this all the time at all ages. I know you guys had uh, uh, classes at SBG, and I don't know if you're still going on right now, where there's the younger generation,
Yeah.
much younger kids. In a situation like that, to where you've got a parent, and I'm kind of looking at my three boys also, and how I would talk to them if, or how I would feel. You sit there, and and society itself it's hard enough to like just make a buck. People are just having two jobs just to make things meet. Um, for parents like that puts this through, and especially just out of their pockets, take their kid across the world. It's like, how do you talk to a parent like that? If, and if you were training Taden and you were there with them, what do you say at that moment?
Man, in that moment, I think when you say in that moment, like I imagine like it's
So let me
me.
kind of just give you a just a scene. It's like, okay, fight's over. We're back. So fight's over. Pictures are going around, and there's people in the ring, and the event is still going, and it's time to go back to the hotel. And now it's you, Taden, and Taden's dad's name's Tin, by the way, and it's you, Taden, Tin. We're just sitting there. I mean, what would you say? What advice, or what would you say as a trainer?
I mean, I think at first you just kind of you just sit there and make it known not by saying anything first that you're there, no matter what. So just being there. And I know you were saying like, just making it across the world, putting in all that work is already a win.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I'm like, man, the positivity. I mean, positivity is great, but I just know in the moment in something like that, and man, just compounded, like just losing anywhere, right?
Mm.
Is no one wants to lose, and compounded by, like you said, having to work all these extra shifts just to afford it, having to put out that fundraiser and having people donate, and probably just imagine like, okay, people are helping out. There's all that pressure. And then again, making that grueling trip. I didn't
Mm.
know it was 30 hours. I had just heard though, like just, it takes forever apparently to get
Mm.
to Europe. And it's like, there's honestly, like, if it was me, I'd be like, damn, there's nothing great to say, but you let it sink in. Maybe they say something, or maybe they're waiting for me to say something, but I would say something. I'd let them know, like, hey, are you gonna let, you know, we can be done here? That heartbreak is insane. Or do you just, you be mad, you be sad, you be everything, feel every emotion,
Mm-hmm.
and once you're done, we get right back to work, and you don't let that one loss define you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
It'd
that's great
be
advice.
something along those lines, but you definitely have to feel everything, like people will be like, have the memory of a goldfish. I'm like, man, my memory's way too good. So like that's what I would do. Like I'd want to be mad. I'd want to be depressed about the situation, just feel everything, and then remember that, because I don't quit. So again, if it was me, so I'd be like, I need to get it back. I need to get mine back.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd take all of that negativity and use that as extra motivation, right? On top of the discipline that I'm sure I would have in that moment, and Tayton, I'm sure, has, because he was training for something like this. And you just go even harder and make them forget that you even lost in the first place.
Yeah. No, that's. I think that's. I don't. In hurt situations, I don't really. I don't react well to, if you could say, cliches like, oh,
Oh,
that type of stuff. I like hurt. And that's just me. And
yeah,
especially if you're in the hurt game, you're gonna sit there and that's what separates a lot of these younger kids, um, and kind of just forming that mindset of just keep pushing forward. And it's not even just in the ring itself. Just bringing out that, quote unquote, dog in you. Just bringing that fire that you constantly have, and it's just putting yourself in situations to where it's like there is hurt there, and you're trying to
yeah,
get rid of the hurt by freaking just moving forward and doing this. And that's also in life. I mean, it's just, shoot, man, we go through so many tragedies, and this is and I can't relate. Other parents out there can't relate, because
yeah,
it takes such a different set of parents and guides and guardians to support something like this, to put your child in there in harm's way, and just like, okay, be better, hurt them more, and just to have that already, that type of mindset, and just pouring your hours of dedication into even taking them there. I think it's already just one of the accolades that you have as a parent, in addition to to everything else, just for keeping the lights on, and having good conversations and all that stuff. But yeah, no, I like it. I like that. I like that advice. Shout out to Tayden.
hey man,
We're excited to see you come back here. We'll celebrate. We'll celebrate, because it is what it is. I mean, it was already a celebrate. There was already due celebration for the fact that you're gonna go there. there was a, there was something that needed to get done. Unfortunately, we fell a little short, but the community is still there to support you.
Yeah.
We're there with you with this. So excited to see you back here, but Tin, excited to see you back here. Thanks for opening us up to that. Just now, I mean, dang, we're rooting for somebody across the world right now. So I thought that was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Um, I do want to make sure that we get to this other piece that we've been kind of working on the side here, and then I think we'll cut into another episode and start talking about just the future, the next fights that are coming up. We'll get that up on you. I know again we're looking at that Fury and Ngannou fight. Um, that's we'll break that down. I mean, the last time I saw the weigh in, or at least the face to face, Fury was bigger than ever. I mean,
Oh,
he's, I don't know
like
if
he's
he's
not
treating,
training.
yeah, it's like are you even serious about this thing? Because this guy's gonna take your head off if you're not messing around.
Did you see the technical sparring between Ngannou and I think his last name is I don't know how it's pronounced, but I know it's Takam.
Mm-hmm. No, I did not. I'm gonna have to take a look at that. What did you see?
Just that Ngannou just doesn't look comfortable moving as a boxer.
Laterally and just around, just
Just
getting,
everything, like moving
yeah.
forward or anything. Because then
Mm-hmm.
when you look at Takam, who's a heavyweight boxer, I think he's British.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just the way that someone moves that's been doing it forever just as a boxer. And Ngannou, I mean, he's done MMA, but it's just like, there's people that are great at boxing when they're MMA fighters, and then there's
Oh
great
yeah,
at boxing as a boxer, right? Like, and he doesn't look comfortable moving. But again, like you said, bro, he's got power in both
yeah,
hands. I mean, I know Wilder does too, but it was the right. And we've seen, I mean, Wilder was landing that too on Fury every fight, and
mm-hmm.
Ngannou's got
Mm-hmm.
power in both. So
Yeah.
I think that would be the difference.
That'd be interesting. That would be, yeah. So we'll do a little bit. I think we've got a little bit more time on that. That's in
I think
November.
either
I
November
forget.
or next month. And
Yeah.
I wanted to save it because we were saying like we're going to talk about the future fights later, but
Yes.
apparently, I don't know if it means anything, but Tyson versus Usyk was signed for December or January.
I saw I saw something about that. Is that confirmed? Because they're
So
always
it's
putting something
signed. I
out
don't know
there.
what that means, right? Like, or like, I mean, we know what it
Like what?
means.
Did somebody put a down payment on a venue? I saw Saudi Arabia. Again,
Exactly. That's
shout out
why.
Saudi Arabia. We are trying to get a
We're trying to get you to
sponsorship.
buy our podcast, bro.
Please buy our podcast so we can retire as young men. I swear to God, I will spend it on my kids. But anyways,
In Dubai.
but so Saudi, I mean, they threw
Saudi,
the
man.
money at it.
I mean, that's the only way to get Tyson to fight. Like, he's made it clear that he believes his legacy cemented, which, I mean, he's fought Wilder 3 times.
Yeah,
But
he's
he's
got
just
the
made
clinch.
it clear that he wants money, right? So
Yeah.
this is going to be it. So I think this would be, God, I hope it goes through
Well,
because
if it is, I mean, Usyk's the last stop. I mean, who else are
it
you gonna
is.
beat up on? You keep freaking recycling all these fighters in that class. It's like who else? I mean, it's over. This is it. Bring in
Fought
Usyk.
Dylan
Bring
White
in
over.
Usyk.
You
Come
can only
on.
fight Dylan White
Can you
so many
stop that?
times.
Who's the other big
Chisora.
guy? Chisora and Dylan White. Can you? How many times you gotta freaking these sacks that you put in there and just my goodness. Please bring in another great heavyweight fighter out there. It'd
There's
be a
none
shame.
after Usyk, bro.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh, that's exciting. If it does happen, we'll take a look at that. I'm sure we'll have more information on the next one. But hey, let's do this. Let's do this Mount Rushmore thing
All right.
because it's and mind you. So we'll preface it with this: the this Mount Rushmore isn't going to be about pound for pound greatest. This isn't going to be our favorites or anything like that. It's a very objective view, and you'll see that I think when I announced my numbers, we briefly shared um, our list. We created a 4 or 5 fighter list, each myself and Emil, and we're gonna come together and we're gonna try to see if we can form this 4 fighter Mount Rushmore. Um, any thoughts on that you wanted to add on it? Because I know they got to stand for something, right?
They
Each
do.
slot.
And I think that stipulation of, not your favorite fighter, because you already know who we're going to, people already know
It's
who we're going to say,
Yeah,
man.
so it would
It's
be
like,
Elorde, it would be
Donaire.
Manny, Donaire, and I don't
Well,
know,
you
insert
could,
next Filipino fighter here.
Donnie Nietes, man. Ajas.
Oh yeah,
No,
in the
no,
eyes,
yeah.
man. There's so many, but no, we have to approach it very objectively, and just because this would be um,
Got to.
BadWraps Mount Rushmore, and
Yep.
I'll try to come up. I'm not very good at Adobe Photoshop, but I'll try to create something out there just to make it look like. But yeah, let's go let's go one for one.
All right.
Okay. Okay. So of course, I mean, so it's not even of course because I don't know who would you bring for. So this is basic. So this list is basically, in my opinion, just if someone that doesn't know boxing was introduced to it and you pointed at that Mount Rushmore, they basically represent just sweet science, the art of it, and also just boxing, period. Historically and current state, present state, right? So my first one, for me, it's absolutely Muhammad Ali. Ali is, I mean, I don't know if anyone can, if there's an argument not to put him up there, unless you have an argument not to put him up there.
Nope. I thought you were going to go different for the first one to say, but I mean, Ali's got to be up there for boxing.
Mm-hmm.
And like, when you were saying, when we started trying to, you know, flesh out how we would make this Mount Rushmore,
Yeah.
it, Ali had to be there because then his impact on boxing and just on the world, like during his time, like he transcended boxing.
Yeah. He made boxing at that point international by taking it to, I mean, he fought in Africa. He fought in the
Philippines,
Philippines, you know,
Araneta
and
Coliseum,
one of the greatest marketer, like self marketer.
dude,
Um
way ahead of his
and
time, man. He could
well,
have fought today
yeah,
in
yeah.
this
It'd be
day and
fun.
age
He'd
and
still be
market
fun to watch.
himself. Yeah,
He'd be definitely fun to watch. So we're in agreement. Um who's your next one? Who's number two face?
I mean, this one, and again, I don't think it's like an order of like we said Ali
Yeah, yeah.
first, but there's not like a one
No,
to.
no, no.
It's
No
a,
specific order.
but I mean before him, Sugar Ray Robinson, man, you got to go
Yes.
with the one that he said is the greatest
Yeah. Super
besides
active.
himself.
Back then it was, I'm sure, I don't know if he is the most active ever, but to have what, over 200 fights. I think he was like 202 fights.
Man, everyone back in that day fought like every other day, dude.
Yeah.
You
Every freaking
just,
week.
I
Just
was
every
like,
week.
God,
Oh, who'd you just and if fights end early, they just bring somebody else in. It's like, hey, we've got time to kill. But Sugar Ray was the original Sugar Ray. Just probably probably the best pound for pound fighter ever.
had the
You can make a
entourage, man. He was,
very solid case for that.
oh yeah, like he just when you saw him fight and like everyone else, you were just like, damn. There's like things that he was doing back then that again, like you just
Whew.
still see to this day. Like he had, they didn't even know what this word was back then, maybe, or it meant something different. But you watch him and you're like, God damn, he had that swagger. Like
Mm-hmm.
in the ring, outside the ring, he just had it.
So yeah, I don't have any. I have no objection with that. He actually is also on my list. So we now have Ali. We've got Sugar Ray Robinson. My third guy, and I think we can kind of just take a deeper look at this, because now you start, those guys, those two definitely have to be up there, but then now you start taking a look at the rest of the list here, and you start this is when it gets a little bit questionable, and we can start to drilling a little deeper and making cases for this. My next one is it's Joe Louis. Joe Louis mainly because
Brown Bomber.
when I looked at just his significance in boxing, and it's especially for his era. During that time when he was fighting, he was in the 30s, 1930s, and this was decades before the civil rights movements. Okay, and the fact that he was able in that, I think Schmeling, he
Jake
in
Schmeling.
the rematch against Schmeling, I think it was Max Schmeling or something like that, the German fighter. And during that time in the 30s, they were, you know, there that was the U.S. was at odds with Germany, and it was very much in turmoil. And the fact that you can have a fighter like this, and this was during the rematch, I believe he went to the White House. In the White House, a white president came to him, you know, this black fighter, and said, you know, it's like, you know, you got it. You're like our chance. You're our chance to actually show that, you know, that we can beat them. And it rallies the people. Now you have this nation of people that aren't the same as you right behind you, and just that's
Yeah.
such a great. I mean, just to have that story, you know, it's like if you put them up there, it combats everything else that actually for me, that it combats everything else as far as a lot of arguments to not have him up there. Who would be your third? I know you had mentioned a couple other fighters before. Are
Yeah.
you in agreement with that, or are you
I mean,
looking at someone else?
when you, I'll just say first who I
When you
had.
put it like
Which was,
that,
I know. I was like, I hate reason and logic, bro.
yeah.
It was I mean, I was thinking Sugar Ray Leonard. Because then when I was looking at,
mm,
because then I was like, all right, I got all this. I
Sugar
have Sugar
Ray.
Ray Robinson, Muhammad Ali. And then I was just like, for me, I like to have some order. And for this one, it was like chronological. So it was like
Mm-hmm.
Sugar Ray, Ali. And then I was like trying to go towards like, you know, modern times. So then
Yeah.
I was thinking about like what, the 70s, 80s. And it was
Mm-hmm.
Sugar Ray Leonard that defined those times. Like, you know, he won the medal for America in the Olympics. Um, and he, you know, obviously he lost to Duran, but if we look at the four kings during that time,
Mm-hmm.
Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, Tommy Hearns, the
Marvin Hagler.
marvelous one, Hagler.
Yeah.
No matter what people think about the Hagler uh, Leonard fight, he beat the rest of the kings, right?
Yeah.
Roberto
Yeah.
Duran, it was crazy. It was like rock, paper, scissors. And then you had Leonard as the one that could beat all three of those. Because Roberto got knocked out in the second round by Tommy Hearns. Tommy Hearns got knocked out in the second round by Hagler.
Yeah. They're
And then
just
you have
sniping
Duran
each other.
and then you have Duran and Hagler fighting to a 15-round draw.
Jesus.
Like, and then Leonard like outboxes Duran twice. You know, obviously he lost the first one, and then one of the most famous fights, the No Moss fight.
Mm-hmm.
Leonard is losing that first fight, and then I think he catches him like in the 10th, and then he goes on to like, you know, beat Hearns by stoppage
No,
in their first
Duran.
fight. Or
Duran. The No Mas fight.
well, he beat Hearns too by
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
stoppage in that first fight. And then, you know, again, controversial, but he beat Hagler. So
Yeah, that's, you know, and I loved Sugar Ray. I loved that entire era. That was just the
oh, dude.
purest, like to where everybody is fighting each other, and they couldn't wait to get back in there to prove themselves if they did lose. You know, there's so many rematches of greats, and I think that was before, you know, I mean, you still had these guys that just want to just fight, you know, rather than
And
all the money and the bureaucracy and the politics that come into it, right? Wow. Yeah, that's you know, I don't think it's something that you and I can decide with that one. I think we should do a poll or something like that. I think we how about with that particular spot? And I'm
Yeah.
not willing, and mind you, I'm not willing to put a fifth face up there just
No.
because that's not the Rushmore. But I'd
Yeah,
love to
that's
actually have
Pacquiao.
your
So
let's have your let's have your gym decide that. I actually like that better. I'm not, who we could sit here as lawyers or something like that, just making cases here and there. But let's take a look at that. SBG, we're looking to you for that one. We'll put something together on that one. The fourth one, the
yep.
fourth one,
Uh,
the objective, the objective
me,
one for me.
uh,
Let me hear yours because I
man, I think we're already on the same boat because this is
okay.
definitely close to now, and obviously people would probably again think and be like, all
Mm.
right, these guys, they're gonna choose Pacquiao, but
Mm.
thinking about it, dude, like, how can you go against Floyd Mayweather Jr., bro? Like, it's hard because again, I want to say Pacquiao with all of his accolades, and he was more like that old school, like, all right, it doesn't matter, I'll fight anyone. It's hard to say
Yes.
that he ducked anybody. I mean, people can come in and say things and say if I'm wrong, but
Eight
it's
weight
it's hard to go
classes.
against Floyd, bro, because he's
Eight weight
undefeated.
classes.
Eight weight
8 weight
classes,
classes. And we're skipping him.
and we're skipping him because if we talk about changing the game,
Mm-hmm.
Floyd Mayweather changed the game. He was Pretty Boy Floyd, and then he became Money May, and now everyone's trying to be Money May.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, like we were talking about it. It's now, for better or for worse, better for the fighters, which it should be about them. But without the fans, what do they make? But
Mm-hmm.
so better for fighters, worse for fans, because you try to make it to a point where you get money, man, or what do they say? You get the bag,
Mm-hmm.
and then you sit on the bag. You try to
It's
take
it's
easier fights or
it's
duck
crazy,
fighters, whatever.
especially after coming off us talking about that era of the 70s and 80s of those that welterweight class, the same class
Oh,
that Floyd, they're just fighting each other, willing to fight each other, and it's just forget about and I mean even Sugar Ray when you interview him nowadays, since he's a sportscaster out there to be like, I wish I was making that money back then, blah blah blah, right? But yes, after having that conversation, Floyd, like, and I'll piggyback on your remark on this is that he absolutely changed the game for the boxer to be
hmm
se- to self promote, to be that person. I mean, you can, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but the persona he put out there was just that, hey, I'm this dude that's just gonna. He promotes the fights for you to either tune in to watch him win or lose. So he's
yeah,
got you on both ends. And the fact that I think what the top 5 pay-per-views shows that. Shows that.
he's
I
like
mean, he's
four of the five. I think
yeah,
the
and to
other one is
control
like maybe Mike Tyson.
the Tyson fight. Yeah. I think that was Tyson Holyfield. And that may also be overshadowed now or have moved down because of the McGregor fight. So the fact that this guy was a self promoter, this is even aside from his record, and just aside from you can even point him up there on the Mount Rushmore and say, hey, that guy was the most that was probably arguably the best defensive fighter ever
Yeah,
because he quit at the right time. He was undefeated. He never really got hurt other than he hurt himself. He was
yeah,
really hurting himself because of his hands. He wasn't like you
and
could say in that fight against Castillo, but at the same time, it's like his demise was and the breakdown of his body because his body was things start getting brittle, and
yep,
he's a smart guy still out there, changed the game. He's one of the reasons why people duck. They
yeah,
point to him. It's like, listen, man, I want to conserve myself because now the fact that you sit there as a fighter nowadays with so many other people in the fight game and you're grinding and trying to fight this guy, that guy, this guy, staying active. And before you know it, you get there and you get that big fight, just like the Haney fight against Loma. Haney was this guy that wanted just that staple fight to say, I'm the one, I'm bringing it all together, and now I get to choose who's next. Look what happened to Haney now. Who's he gonna fight? He keeps
Bro,
freaking
Grace. Yeah,
progress. You got
I know.
Shaq.
Shit.
You got Shakur, and you got freaking little man Tank, and you pick progress. Come on, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He created that, and that's, hate it or love it. He's up there. He's up there for the and I'm glad you actually agree with that thing, because that's, I would not want to debate this with a Pacquiao, with you saying, you know what, 8 division
It's hard.
international.
I mean, I want to. It's like, but bro,
Yeah.
if we
So
like, you know, money, man. That's. I mean, there's the
pretty
legacy and all that, but now it's money, and bro, he's
pretty
money
boy,
made, bro.
and it's the business. I mean, and you gotta, as a fighter, sometimes just move with the business. There's a lot of fighters that have gotten lost, great fighters that have gotten lost and never really gotten their shine and how great they are to be shown out there and to make that big dough, just because they couldn't get that money fight. There's a lot of
Yep.
guys like for Terrence for a long time, Bud Crawford for a long time couldn't get that fight because, well, maybe you're with now the camps, the promotional camps. You got you're under Bob Arum, or you're under PBC with Heyman and them guys, and you're under another one, and they can never come to the table because it's the money. You got this great that just will, that if he gets in the ring with the other guy, with one of the better guys with Spence, that he do what he actually did, and that was the thing.
Smack.
So, and that's, I think that, well, that's the unfortunate thing that happened with Pacquiao Mayweather. It's because it happened a little too late. That was very, very, very unfortunate. Um, but it's because of Floyd. It was because of Floyd. And look what, yeah. So he definitely makes our Mount Rushmore. So what we're looking at right now, and we'll get a vote. From and also it's not limited to the Seattle Boxing Gym. It's
Anyway,
whoever, if you want to weigh in, Instagram, YouTube, go ahead and subscribe on, like and subscribe on this thing, and so we can keep bringing you this fight series. But yeah, we also want to hear from you, and it's like, and what do you think? We'll do a quick poll on that thing. Okay. Um, looking good. I'm looking at the time. I don't
yeah.
want to keep you for too long. I know that you're a family man,
You
and you also got to do.
just.
I see.
I'm like,
I see the
see,
misses
there's
back there. And so,
commotion. This is a fight I lose every day. No.
so yeah, let's get this thing rolling. Are you
Future
gonna watch?
fights.
Are you going to buy the fight, or where are you gonna watch the fight?
Bro, man, I am. I am.
We'll
I
see.
hate it like when you get to the main event and it starts to get choppy. And my
Mm,
internet, like this area I live in, like the internet is. I thought it was the provider, but I've been
yeah,
on a few different ones, and I think it's just the area, or maybe
yeah,
even like just here in the house how they have the wiring. But anyway, I'm buying it. And the undercard looks good. We mentioned it
yeah.
earlier. I mean, we got Ugas and
Ugas
Barrios.
and
I
Barrios.
was just looking at it, and I'm
That's
like
for the belt. That's for. I
getting
think
everything,
that's the. Yeah, I mean, I think it's an abandoned belt.
which
So.
is crazy because you mentioned, Tank, bro. This guy fought Barrios. I mean, Barrios had to go down a ton in weight
Hmm.
because look, he's fighting Ugas, who's a huge welterweight.
That's a good fight. I like that
There's
fight.
other ones too. When I looked, and I was like, damn, they
Hmm.
got some good fights. Like it's stacked from even the non-televised card
Hmm.
to the televised. It looks good. So
Yeah.
I'm
No.
I'm definitely buying it. 85 for this one. I'm like, all right. And especially us assuming it's going to be a KO in the later rounds, like you can't ask for too much more
Yeah. Yeah.
from a fucking fight of this caliber.
Yeah.
I'm paying.
They'll
I'm
pay
paying.
for it. They'll pay for it.
I'll pay for it.
I know of at least a couple people that's ordering it here. So it's
There
good
you go,
times.
man.
Bunch of drunk Asians around and just yelling at the TV. You gotta love that. So next week, I think in the next episode, I think we try to get somebody in. If not, if we can't schedule it, schedule conflicts here and there, we'll talk about the future fights. There's plenty of positive stuff going on, and there's also forward looking stuff. and let's dig into this Fury Usyk thing.
Oh
So
yeah.
we'll see what that looks like. We'll do a little bit more investigation if that's the real deal, and we'll look into it. So
Or maybe
you
it's
know,
Ngannou Usyk, bro. Nah.
good God, please don't.
I'm gonna send you
Can we stop?
that technical sparring though. You'll see
Okay.
where you're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I see what he's talking about.
Okay. More prep, but again, thank you all for staying here with us. Uh, SeattleBoxingGym.com. Take a look. You can follow them also at on Instagram, Seattle Boxing Gym at Seattle Boxing Gym. Um, at Cold Rice Media. We'll see you guys next
Cold
week.
Rice Media. Take it easy, y'all.